Okay, it's time to take a walk, gentlemen and ladies, viewers. Let's take this walk together, and we could also be talking about some of the things that have happened this week in the United States. It's a beautiful day. When you look around where we are, you are also going to love this day. The colors are beautiful. Spring is, I think, halfway. As you can see, there's a lot of greenery around us. It's spring. We are in Virginia, in the United States of America. So, as you enjoy this view, we can talk about some of the few things that have happened in the United States this week, which include two very, very important events, at least politically speaking, because there were two cases that were happening simultaneously. Especially on Thursday. The first case was actually on for a couple of days before yesterday. That's before Thursday. And what happened was that the Supreme Court of the United States was handling a matter that involved an application by former president of the US, Donald Trump, who sought to have a declaration that former presidents should be immune from prosecution of criminal nature, of things that they may have done or things that they did when they were in office. So this is a matter that has been very is a matter that actually been talked about quite openly and very famously so by some of the most popular politicians in the United States. It is a matter that is on many people's lips. And if you remember, former President Donald Trump, who is now trying to run for president once again, got himself into a situation whereby a few things that he did while in office have been challenged. They have been challenged, with those challenging them asking whether really it was the right thing to do. Turned out that President Trump was, according to him and his lawyers, was doing all those things because he felt that he needed to do them without worrying about being prosecuted in the future. And so, fast forward. On Thursday, the Supreme Court was listening to both sides of that application, both sides of that case. Mainly there was a lawyer who was representing former President Donald Trump, and who insisted all along that his client was within the law. Whatever he did, including maybe, I'm not sure that they went into details of the things that he did, and that was what was in the matter in question. But in short, those are bikers riding around. Those are neighbors. This is an abandoned house, in case you are looking for some place to live. I'm sure you will be charged an arm and a leg for that. Anyway, so let's go back to our story. So Donald Trump, former president, is basically arguing that as a president you should be allowed to do things that ordinarily, you and I, common folks, would not ordinarily do. The argument is that if you tie the hands of a former president or of a president such that you'd always be looking over his or her shoulder before performing any duties or taking any actions, then that might not work very well for a country like the United States, which has as many, if not more, enemies as it has friends. So basically that was the argument. And now listening to most of the judges, including those that are said to be generally conservative leaning, some of whom were actually appointed by the then President Trump himself. Watching them, I don't know about other people, but personally I felt like they were all very skeptical about that argument that you can do almost anything in the name of immunity, that you are immune to prosecution. So the other side was arguing, if that is allowed, then it could lead to chaos where people would do whatever they want to do. They could even assassinate some, like for example, assassinate an opponent, political opponent, and get away with it in the name of those powers, in the name of the protection that the president would have in terms of not being prosecuted. So that was what was happening in the Supreme Court. The judges, all of them had their questions and they had their opinions about some issues. And when that was over, they went to their offices, where it is expected that they will deliver their ruling on that matter, over whether also one of the things that they were looking at, one of the subject matters in this application is, although not explicitly so, but it also seeks in a way to find out where to draw the line between private and public or official functions of a president. Okay? I don't know where you are watching this from. I don't know what happens in the jurisdiction that you are in. If you are in the United States, maybe you can drop a comment. tell us what happens where you are in regards to the powers of the leader. In many cases, it's the president. Some countries have prime ministers. Other countries have kings. Some places have kingdoms with kings and princes and princesses and all that. Is it, the question here, is it always that the leader of your country can do whatever they want to do because they are protected by the law? They can order some assassination, like a question came up in those deliberations in the Supreme Court of the United States. Can they just order that somebody be assassinated without any due process or without any legal backing of that action? Or can they just wake up one day and in the streets start shooting everybody because they are presidents or prime ministers or kings or whatever it is they are, and not worry that they could be prosecuted? Because it seems that there's a very fine, thin line between what is lawful for a president to do and what is not. Now, there are people who say that the president can pretty much do anything while in office. Obviously, that argument, although I don't think it's quite the right way to argue it, honestly speaking, that the president need not worry. There's a school of thought that, says that that is important so that you don't have a leader who is always worrying, as I said, always looking over their shoulders before they make some very, very consequential decisions. And so there should be, so this is my personal opinion, there really should be some protections, but of course there has to be a line. A line must be drawn so that also they do not abuse that power. There would be some things that are, I think, should be taken very seriously. Actions, for example, that are really private, or actions that are taken for personal gain, those ones should not be part of what the should not be considered as official, the reasons that leader would be taking those actions if they are for personal gain. And so that begs the question, if, for example, the former president took some actions that, according to those that have been pontificating on the matter, were taken to perpetuate him, or for him to perpetuate himself in office. So those be covered? Drop a comment, viewers. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think about this. Should the president or leader be excused for taking actions that seem to be actions that clearly seem to be for personal aggrandization of personal gain. So should that pass, or should such leaders be prosecuted for actions of that nature? So in case you are just joining us, we are just taking a walk in the neighborhood here in Virginia. As you can see, it's a beautiful place, actually. Beautiful day, beautiful place, very nice. And we are doing this at a time when spring is here, and it will not be very long before it disappears, and we will be getting into summer, God willing. And it's a typical kind of an afternoon, but I must also mention that the weather is very cool, very nice, and that's why you see like the young man ahead of me here is also enjoying riding. Is whatever that is, I'm not sure what it is that he is riding. You can see the gentleman ahead of me also taking a walk. The other gentleman over there also walking his black dog, and all these other activities that you see around. Usually they are activities that mainly happen at this time of the year. Up there you see a plane. I hope you can see that. A plane just got off Ronald Reagan National Airport. I don't know where it's going, but it certainly is going somewhere. Beautiful cars here. This is in the United States of America. You get very nice cars, big cars. I don't know where you are. I'm not saying the cars in the United States are the best. Somebody may have a different opinion about that. But what I do know is that most of the cars that are not necessarily originally American. See, like that Subaru right there, or even the Honda right there. Those vehicles are not American, so to speak. But if you are a company that has to do business with the people of the United States, especially about selling and buying cars, the cars must follow some specifications. That's a Toyota right there. You all know that Toyotas are Japanese. You all know that Subarus are Japanese. You also know that BMWs and Mercedes Benzes are German. So anyway, so I digress. That was not the point I was making. And we talked about Mercedes-Benz, and you see it there. We have a Lexus there. We have a Ford. Ford is very American. And we have another Ford there. You see that truck right there? That's extremely amazing. That is as American as it can get. Yeah, so our walk is almost done. Hopefully we have had a good conversation there about the things that have been happening over the week. Yeah, I forgot to also mention Remember when we started out, I was telling you about 2 cases that were running simultaneously, concurrently actually, and they both invoked former President Donald Trump in one way or another. Because the other case was in New York. It has been running for a week now, and basically what the issue is that the former president is being accused of breaking the law. It actually is a criminal prosecution. He's said to have used to have paid some money to some people in an attempt to gag, to keep some mouths shut regarding alleged activity where he said to have had an affair with a woman who is not necessarily his wife or spouse or girlfriend or whatever it is. And one of the reasons, according to the allegations we made, is that happened because former President Trump did not want the information about his extramarital affairs to be out here, be read in newspapers and be spread through the media in those days. And if you will remember, that was happening at a time when the former president, then just a businessman, was running for president. And according to people who know, or people who speculate, and people who pontificate on matters like this, generally let's call them analysts. According to analysts, many of them, he was probably doing that so that he does not damage his name at a very critical time when anything, even the smallest of things, could cost him the votes for, as he was trying to run for presidency. So that's what was happening through the week. We cannot talk a lot about it because it's a matter that's active and ongoing, but we'll give you an update when there is need to do so. But for now, I think we're just gonna call it a day. As always, please subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share this, and make sure that you always come back to watch videos here, because they are going to be very, very interesting. More importantly, don't fail to subscribe, hit the like button, so that you do not miss out on the very good stuff that we post on this channel. For now is adios amigos, adios amigas, bye bye, and see you in the next one.